Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. And I understand sometimes I can't get a word in myself. Okay, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. And by the way, you can only make comments or questions during the live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos, Saturday at John's, contest coverage that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe, and when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all so that whether it's me or Sparky, you'll be notified. Also, sharing the videos, comments, also help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow, pardon me. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships. I got ahead of myself. See, starting at $4.99. You can see the blue button below your screen there, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm also a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my checking account every single month, and I don't miss it. And I suspect you won't miss it either. And it's also the super chat right below the chat box, which has a big dollar sign. You can donate whatever you want, whenever you want, using that instead of the monthly subscription. Now, your support helps offset just some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges and stickers that Sparky and I can see in the chat box, who are our supporting patron members. And you also get unlimited replay of member-only videos, which you might not see anywhere else. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here twice a week, Monday and Friday nights. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there. And place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his then orange Junar XL. He's since then refinished it. But if you do that, see, I'll be notified. I'm not notified on Sparky's channel because it's not my channel. So if you go there, I'll be notified and be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations pardon me, keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I will get the link posted now. I'm in a hurry because I'm running a little bit late. I know there are people that are waiting for me to post this link. So that's why I was stepping on my words. I was just trying to get it done as fast as possible. So the link is, come on, my internet's a little bit slow. I've hit the post button, but it's not moving. Come on, what's going on? Well, as soon as my computer cooperates, the link will be posted, maybe several times. There we go. All right, the link is posted now. And let me go to what I call the control panel. Well, my computer really is operating sluggish. So pardon me for that. Looks like we are streaming though, so that's good. And let me see here. It looks like we have 12 concurrent viewers, 6 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, now we have 7 likes and 13 viewers. If you have not hit the like button, please do that before you forget. It won't cost you anything, and greatly appreciate that. And it looks like we have Tom Rammel. He's already provided a like. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. And it looks like I have 2 gentlemen in here. I'm not sure who came in first. I think it was you, Caffeine. Thank you very much for coming in, Caffeine. And hey, Phil, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you, Charles? Whoops.
Doing great. You have a little bit different background than I've seen before.
Yeah, I'm at my daughter's house in South Carolina.
Wow. Well, man, thank you so much, Phil. That means a lot to me. You're coming in when you're visiting you're visiting who again? Your daughter?
My daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that speaks volumes. Thank you. I appreciate it. It
Anytime.
looks like we have Mark. I think this is Mark Wise. He's making a connection here. He'll be in here shortly. And Gary Sinclair says like provided. So Gary's probably going to be a VIP in a little bit. And then Jack Snavely, he says, hello all around the world, just saying hi and enjoying the show. Thank you so much, Jack. And he has some airplane stickers and a smiley face. And I can see that he is a member of the YouTube channel. So is Gary Sinclair. I can tell by there's a special icon when you are a supporting member. And it looks like Mark Wise came in. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. And we also have Mark Goober. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for coming in. I saw the flight, the video of your that half A biplane. I saw that, Mark. That was pretty neat. And hey, Jim, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And looks like we have Mark Lumen, who hasn't been in a while. Hey, Mark, how you been?
Hey, Mark.
How are you?
How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing well.
Are you back home or are you traveling?
I'm home for the moment. I'll travel next week. I'm down in the little shop here, so trying to unsweat. I went flying a little bit before dark and got rid of the heat. You know, it was like 101 or 102 heat index, and
It's warm.
I think I hadn't stopped sweating for the past 3 hours.
So you went flying a model airplane or a full scale airplane?
No, model.
Model airplane. All right, because you pilots have to clarify.
The model airplanes don't come with air conditioning, at least the ones I know. Yeah.
Hey, Mark. One of these weekends before the Worlds, if you've got time, try to get me and Trayan together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Trayan come over for a day here just not too long ago. And he just happened to catch on a good weekend. But definitely. Yeah.
Well, see, anytime you're gonna be home on a weekend, let me know and I'll try to get it with him. And if we can schedule it, we'll get the 3 of us together.
Yeah, it's not a bad drive. I don't think. Probably what?
No, it's not. It's about 3 hours for me, 3.5, and it's about 2 for him. So.
Yeah. That's good. I was out trying to do some more trim work on the Hellcat, and still real happy with it. I just wish I could learn to fly a pattern, but
It'll come. It'll come.
And flying the pattern exposes a lot of things that's wrong with your plane. Any deficits, it gets exposed through the pattern.
It definitely does. I was just just chatting with Dave just now, and he said, "Okay, Mark, it's a great statement." Dave Triller. Yeah, he goes, "Mark, You put one hand on the handle. You put one hand on your left butt cheek. You squeeze and push yourself to move on.
Yeah.
That's one way of doing it. I always had a contest motivating me. That's what helped me get things done, because that date would never go back. It would just stay there. And I was,
yeah, I certainly at some point will go to contests. I like them. I've been to one contest and I provided the entertainment for everybody. It was great. I think Jim Lee even still, and Todd Lee, I think Dave had just something he had put together, and it was having some control issues and from the nut on the line, and plus the bell crank at one point. Anyway, I was on my third loop and thinking I'm going to get through 3 loops. It looks like I'm going to get through 3 loops. Yeah, the top of the loop, bam, the engine quits. Yeah.
oh,
The airplane turned 90 degrees. Yeah. Made the most beautiful landing as I stepped out of its way.
oh, that's very good.
That's good.
It landed, 3 wheels stayed up, and I think it was Todd Lee goes, well, for the landing, it landed. Yeah. And
that's pretty good.
And I know you guys may have heard, and I just got on, but if I missed it, I don't want to bring it up again, but I think, Bob Brooke has passed away today.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that. I just learned that.
I didn't know that either.
I'm sorry to hear about that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Nice guy. I mean, obviously, but I don't know any of the details or whatever, but I thought I'd just pass that along,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let me say hi to Keith Russell before too long goes by. Hey, Keith, I did see you come in. Thank you very much for coming in. And Mike Lonke's in the house. Thank you, Mike, for coming in. I appreciate that as well.
Mike.
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, that's okay. I'm trying to redo my, it's like a pilot, you're not supposed to touch anything. Yeah. So I just touched them. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. Oh, the old joke was, before long, they're going to put a German Shepherd in the cockpit, and the German Shepherd is there to bite the pilot if he touches anything. So
yeah.
It won't be long.
Yeah.
Hey, Stuart, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Anybody do any flying or building or working in a shop? I see I see Mike's working on an engine, but has anybody done any flying this week?
Oh yeah, like I just got back a while ago.
That's right. You did mention that.
See if, I can fly airplanes all over the world, but sometimes this computer just kicks my butt.
So Jim, have you had any chance to do any flying? I know last time you mentioned the Predator, and then the show just started exploding with people coming in just like popcorn, and I lost track.
The last time I flew was Sunday. I've put a couple flights on the Predator with the Igor system. I'm really pretty happy with it. It's improved the line tension where I was looking for, top of the hourglass, top of the square 8, to where I lengthened the lines a foot, and things stayed good. I'm probably going to lengthen the lines another foot, so that lets you, for the same lap time, increase the velocity of the airplane, generate more lift. And this airplane is on the heavy side of nominal, so it does. I can't stall it, but I wish it was 5 ounces lighter too. So I'm very happy with the Igor system.
Where did you scratch build this one, or is it one of Walt's kits? Right, with you, it's probably scratch build.
It's scratch build.
I figured it had to be.
Yeah.
With you, it almost had to be.
Yeah.
And I've heard of your legacy. You're like me. You like scratch building.
I do every time, about every 5 years, I'll build a kit to remind myself why I don't do that.
Yeah, that was me. I just started on a kit here last few weeks for a friend of mine. It's well, I didn't do it for him. I did it for me, but I did it because he's talking about one. Geeskin over. And I did not realize that the Geeskin over kit that Top Flight put out is not by the moments are not right. Fuselage moments are not right. And that kind of amazed me. I looked at that thing and I said, it just don't look right. Don't feel right. So I dug in, found my plans, and they're not right. It was done shorter than it's supposed to be. Both ends. Kind of surprised me.
I poo-poo kits, but I will say 2 years ago, I built a Brodak profile Pathfinder, and that was a pretty decent kit. I retract my comment for that airplane. I mean, it's not a featherweight, but it's light enough, and it flies pretty well. And the kit was decent. The instructions were weak, but the kit was pretty good.
Yeah, I have that kit. I hadn't built it yet, but I have that kit. I'm thinking about making it a twin.
Very good.
It's good to see you out flying again, though.
Let me say hi to John Miller. Thank you for coming in, John. And I love that shirt. You want to show that shirt real quick? Let me make it big. I want to get one for the 50s, but if you haven't seen this shirt before, gentlemen, this is funny.
Built for the Fortress original. Oh, okay. Some parts still in working order. I like that.
Yeah. I won't tell you which ones.
Built in the 40s, original parts, some still work, right?
Yeah.
The 40s original parts unrestored. Some original parts still work.
Very good. I need to get one for the 50s. And Jerry, thank you for coming in, Jerry. Appreciate it.
If you find the one for the 50s, you be sure to let me know where to get it. 55, I'm game.
Yeah. And Tom Rammel says EAA Air Venture this week.
Oh, wow.
And then he goes on to say they are building an airplane in 1 week. The 1 week wonder is a Sonic this year. I helped build the first two 1 week wonders in the past. That's what he says. And then Dennis Adamison says, like delivered. So when Dennis comes in, he'll be a VIP as well as our other VIP, Gary Sinclair. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. That helps the analytics of the show. The likes are important.
If I'd known that's all I had to do, I'd have done it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so appreciate it. But I went flying today and flying my electric SV11. And when I got home, I saw in the mail, I couldn't put a spinner on my plane. One is a pusher prop, so I didn't have any pusher spinners. So well, I did have one or two, but I didn't have the right prop nuts. Anyways, make a long story short, I come home, I see I got a prop nut. I put on the cone with the back plate, and I noticed that the gap between the back plate of the spinner and the nose ring is a wider gap on the outboard side than on the inboard side.
Ooh.
So that explains why I've been having it being light above 45 degrees, right? And I measured the prop blade, the same prop blade on each leading edge of the wing. And on the inboard wing, it measures 11.5. And on the outboard wing, the space between the leading edge of the wing and the prop blade is 11.75. So I'm going to fix that this week, and I cannot wait to go flying. You know that anticipation you have that you just cannot wait to go fly again because you realize a problem with your plane and you fix it. You can't wait to see what it feels like. So I am so anxious to go flying. And let me say hi to Joe Gilbert. Hey, Joe, thanks for coming in.
Charles, are you saying you had inboard thrust?
Yes.
Not good.
I know, but I was fighting. That's why my lead out rake is all the way forward because I was fighting the plane coming in. So I'm going to have to go back to square one and reposition the lead out rake and start over, not totally over, but but I'm excited because I can probably slow the lap time down because I was really having problems above 45 degrees. And hey, Dennis, thank you, Dennis, for coming in. You are our second VIP coming in, giving us a like and coming in. I appreciate that very much, Dennis.
I gave you a like, but I
Indeed.
forgot to tell you.
You did, Mark? Oh, you're a VIP. Thank you very much. So,
Hey, Charles,
yeah, Mark.
I'd like to update everyone on what's happening with the end of the gnats sometime before we break. Anytime, I don't care.
Well, we have right now, we have 14 of us in here, so it's a pretty good crowd, and it might get even more, but I don't know. But we have 14 now, so go ahead.
Okay, I'll try to stick to the point and make it as quick as I can. You know what happened? The event was ended early. There were a lot of questions about who had the right to end the event, and as well as what was the motivation to end the event, as opposed to letting us just wait out the storm. So Tuesday, I guess it was Tuesday, I had a long conversation with Chad Boudreau, the executive director of AMA. And it was a good conversation. Basically what's happening, there are a lot of, there's probably a bright side to this, and that is that there are a lot of things that are run by unwritten rules. And I told him I'd like to have things written down because whenever they're not, confusion reigns supreme. So one of the things that's going to come out of this is we're going to have a NATS manual. And I'd like to see, someone asked me, well, who's the CD in charge of the NATS? I mean, you have this big event going on. I don't think there is one. I'm not sure they're supposed to be, but it just raises a lot of questions when a special interest group has limited authority, is what it seems. So there are a lot of good things going on this coming week. There's going to be a meeting, the beginning of several meetings between the staff and the executive committee of AMA. And the executive committee is headed by a guy who's a terrific guy, Mark Radcliffe, who was one of the best RC pattern guys ever, and a very reputable guy. He's also a vice president of, I think, District 5. I can't swear that's the one.
3, District 3.
Thank you. Okay.
My district.
Mark and I know each other well. I trust him. Tony Stillman will probably be involved, another guy with a good reputation. And they're gonna look into this whole thing, interview everyone that was involved, make sure whatever comes out of this is accurate and fair. We talked about things about the qualifications of any control line director at the NATS. What kind of a position is it? Is it an employee? Is it a volunteer? And it helped me learn a lot because there's no witch hunt going on. We need to know what's right and what's not right. So Brenda's been in that position for a while. It's my understanding her husband has significant modeling background. The position is a volunteer position. AMA pays for the trip and boarding while they're in Muncie to help cover their costs. I'm not exactly sure of that person's responsibilities. I don't know if it's written down anywhere. So there are going to be some good things coming out of this. We can't redo the end of the NATS. That's not practical. But just to know that these openings are going to be closed and the vagueness will be less vague, I think is very important to everyone. I was very frank with him about that this just cannot repeat again. And again, the motivation was one of the key questions of why the event was shut down. And why was it that I didn't know anything about it? I wasn't consulted. More importantly, John Parrish was not consulted. And you would think that maybe would be a two-way decision or a three-way decision at worst. So I think those things are going to be tightened up. I did learn that no one in the top management of AMA shut us down. Okay, that was not the case. And people that were at the site later in the day, like I was, reported the late afternoon weather was incredibly good. And that's all we were trying to get is to extend and let the storm blow through. So I feel pretty good about things. There've been a lot of, maybe you all can help me on this. There's been a lot of shooting from the hip remarks on Stunthangar. And it seems to always be from people who were not there. And this is a really bad time to trash AMA, a really bad time. You know, we're just still a small piece of model aviation, and we're trying to build up PAMPA and our reputation and somewhat the uniqueness of what we do in terms of the investment in time and skill and flying and then travel and the cost of travel. It's a big deal to us. And the Nats is as big as it gets. I also question the team manager in the Worlds being the same person who personally is not that familiar with control line. So it was a really good opportunity for Chad to ask me some questions and for me to ask him some questions. And he admitted that the special interest groups and control line have not been on the front page of AMA for quite a while. So I volunteered my time that if he needs someone to bounce some things off, he can either call me, and I represent PAMPA, and I have an executive committee that's very accomplished, and the answers may not come directly from me, but I know I can get them if we need to figure out the answer. And there are people on the forum right now, like Keith, who knows, PAMPA and the Nats from the very beginning. I guess that may have been 74, somewhere around there. So I would just discourage people from telling us the way things are going to go when no one knows that right now. I put out just a note to each of the directors that this is not a good time to talk about rumors or what might happen. Let's just let this thing cool down a little bit. They're going to be meeting next week. I know they are. I'll probably get calls during the week. And when I'm allowed to say what the future is going to be, I'll be glad to share that. I think in the future, and it may not be the immediate future, one of the good things I think that came out of it was Chad asking me that if in the future we have a different control line director, would I be the person who could possibly find a couple of names for him, which I think is a real plus in our category. I think that's a trust in PAMPA and the control line stunt community. So I like the way things are going. I put a message out on Stunthangar, maybe it was last night, encouraging people to be patient. And this is going to come, and I think it's going to end up being the right direction to go in the future. I think a Nats manual is important. I think knowing the chain of command at the Nats, I think, is important. And knowing who has responsibility for what. And again, we weren't, when it was called off, the weather there was pretty horrible. And we were not going to fly, obviously. We already had 2 postponed start times. And that was John's call, and it was absolutely the right call. But we knew Indiana weather, and things would get better later on. And that's what we were hoping to do. So a little bit of fallout from this is that I don't think we can fix, is that we weren't able to run the Walker Trophy competition. We'd have to get the 2 boys who happen to be brothers together with David Fitzgerald, and you'd have to have qualified judges. And when do you do that, and where do you do that? And can David transport his airplane? And a little more fallout is that the junior winner will not be eligible for junior next year. He'll be flying in senior. So I sent out a note to each of the district directors yesterday, and the overwhelming response from them was they feel we should just let it go. That it'd be too difficult and questionable to try to run it by the end of the year. If any of you have any thoughts on that, I'd love to hear them, because the final decision has not been made. I feel bad for the boys. David is willing to do a lot of things. The boys are going to be in Muncie for the Fellowship of Christian Modelers. Dennis, I think you're the CD for that.
That's correct.
Okay. But David can't make it that weekend. And of course, if we're going to tie all this together, we need judges, and they have to be quality judges. You know what I mean by quality, experienced judges.
Mhm.
So if any of you have thoughts on that, please let me know. Please share them with me. I just head up the organization. I'm not, I do the best I can, but it should never be just what I think. That would be a mistake. So again, I feel good about the future. We may have some answers next week that if they're public, I'd be glad to share them here, and of course with the PAMPA group. One of the things that did come out of these meetings with Chad is that people who fly at the Nats, he was shocked that we allow people to fly at the Nats who are not PAMPA members. I mean, he just looked at me like, are you kidding me? How do you guys allow that? Isn't that your organization? So, that point has come up before. I'm not sure what the right answer is. Personally, I feel anyone who takes advantage to fly at the Nats is taking advantage of an organization they should be a member of. That's my feeling about it, but that's not PAMPA's feeling. That's just my personal. If we're going to support control line stunt at the highest level and keep the integrity of it, I think everyone needs to be on that boat. So, any questions for me? Comments?
The only corollary that I have, Mark, is that I was involved with the LSF, the League of Silent Flight, and they were the special interest group that ran the sailplane nationals. And we never had a mandate that you had to be an LSF member. Of course, the LSF was not really a membership organization, even the way PAMPA is. We didn't have annual dues or anything like that. It was a
Right.
very loose knit thing. But non-LSF members included in some cases the world champion and people like that. And so it was like, yeah, we'll run a national championships, but we'll exclude the world champion. I don't think so. So there is some precedent for that. I think there might be a way. I don't know if there's any of the other SIGs that do that, the Free Flight Society or the Combat Group or anything like that. I guess I'd be very surprised if any special interest group was able or willing or even, thought it was in their best interest to exclude non-SIG members, only because it is an open contest and everything like that. It's our best place to showcase. It's our best place to recruit, I think. I don't know if mandating is the right answer, but
something related to that.
Look,
Hang on.
Go ahead.
John Miller had his hand raised first.
Sure.
Go ahead, John.
Just a real quick observation. As far as I know, any contest, local or regional, a lot of people fly the PAMPA classes, and a lot of them are not members of PAMPA, and it's been allowed since. Keith could probably tell me if it was allowed at the beginning or not, but I don't know that it's in our best interest to do that, to exclude people.
Okay, and it may not be. It's certainly not my vote. It's just something that's kicked around. It's not high on the agenda. And I'm not raising this because he asked me the question. I just know that at this level of PAMPA membership, there's a lot of things we can't do. We just don't have we don't have the money. And I'm not suggesting people get, I haven't recruited anyone yet by twisting their arm or lying to, and I'm not going to. If they don't see the value, then they shouldn't join. I just know how much effort is put in by certain people every year. So on a better note, at the PAMPA board meeting 2 Wednesdays ago, I guess it was at the Nats, whenever it was, I didn't want to go through another year where we have no idea until January who may be the event director. I told him I just couldn't do that we need to figure out a system. And the guys started giving me names, and the person sitting next to me happened to be John Parrish, who's a district director. And he said, well, are you asking me for an answer now? I said, absolutely not. I said, I think you should go home and think about things. As far as I know, if you want it, it's yours. And I got a note from John, I guess yesterday, saying that he and Michelle will do it again, which is, to me, just awesome. They did such a terrific job, so smooth, that I was just tickled. I said, you mind if I publicly put this out? He said, no. What a job they did. They were a credit to us, and they're going to do it again. So I thought that was terrific.
That is.
That's good news. And Keith, go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, well, this is only partially related to this PAMPA membership thing. When PAMPA first started, it was one of the first special interest groups. AMA was promoting the idea. There was the National Free Flight Society. It pretty well covered all the free flight events at that time, but and I think it was recognized as a SIG. But I think PAMPA was the first control line SIG. And then I think there were a whole bunch of radio control special interest groups. But there in the beginning, AMA was requiring that to be a member of your special interest group, you had to be a member of the AMA. And
right,
we've argued about that. We have no way of enforcing it. And it's sort of like, if you go to a contest, you're a member of the AMA. So what difference does it make to the AMA if somebody wants to be a member of our special interest group? It doesn't fly in contests. And anyway, it never was resolved. It never was an answer to it. And I don't know whether that may still exist or not, but it's sort of frustrating at the time for them to come up with that requirement. Like I say, there's no way to enforce it.
Right. Good point. Thanks.
But that's different than requiring somebody that flies at the nationals that PAMPA puts together and organizes, that they have to be a member of PAMPA. That doesn't make sense either.
Okay.
It just shouldn't be. It's a open nationals, and let it be that way.
Okay.
They have to be a member of the AMA, so what difference does it make? They're covered with insurance.
Okay, Charles, thank you, buddy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hey, John Miller, are you staying out of trouble?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Trouble?
It follows you around.
I've got plenty of things to get myself in trouble with.
He's in full Santa Claus mode now. Nobody holds Santa Claus accountable for anything. Right, he breaks into houses all every year and gets away with it.
Well, at least not until the day after Christmas. And I generally have all the complaints come in.
Yeah, that's it. The things that didn't get delivered.
Okay, next question. Who's going to go to Las Vegas in November? Dennis, you were there last year.
You thinking about it, Phil?
When? Which contest?
Las
Las
Vegas.
Vegas Stunt Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thinking
very
about
good.
it, just can't commit yet.
And Mike, you're going, right, Mike? Mike Lonke? All right.
You know Lonky's going.
And Howard went last year, so I'd imagine, yeah, he's going. And maybe Tim Just was
How
there
about you,
last year.
Dennis?
What was that, John? I didn't quite get
I
that.
just asked if Dennis was going and he's shaking his head yes, so.
I'm went from I couldn't go to wondering. That's about it.
So Dennis, if you need, we can just bring you airplanes. If you just get your butt there.
Yeah.
If that helps.
I know I had some personal things going on that were going to prevent me from going, and those are kind of cleared up, but it's a long story and I really don't want to get into it here, but it's I'm thinking, let's just say I'm thinking about it and we'll let it go at that. So my cardboard box is still intact and so is the smoothie. So what the heck? So.
Well, all I can say is we sure had a good time last year.
You sure did.
Yeah, we did. I really enjoyed myself. But this year I'm gonna fly. I still had the electric smoothie back. I mean, excuse me, thinking about your smoothie, Dennis. I had my SV11, but it wasn't flying very well, not even good enough to go to a contest. So I went, but I didn't fly. Let me say hello to Al Fierro. Hey, Al. Thanks for coming in. Al, did you go to the Nats? What events did you compete in?
Wait,
Jim's got his hand up there.
All right, just a minute, Jim.
I'm having troubles logging in.
Well, I can see you and hear you fine.
My screen's all frozen.
Really, but your lips are moving here.
Weird.
Hopefully you're telling the truth. So tell me about if you want to get your stuff squared away, I'll let Jim go ahead and
Yeah.
I know Jim has a hard stop usually pretty soon.
I got some bugs I'm working out.
So I don't have a hard stop tonight.
Oh wow.
But I do know that the Las Vegas contest it's a 3-day contest this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, just FYI.
Mhm.
It's a good site and it's well run.
I don't have the flyer handy, but there are a lot of events.
And the food's pretty good too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they added profile. What, last year they flew old time, classic, NOS 30, Pampa. And I think they added profile this year and they put that on Friday. I think that's the way it's working.
Well, Friday is old time and profile.
Okay.
Saturday is classic and nostalgia 30s. And then Sunday is Pampa class or Pampa aerobatics expert advanced. All awards to third place. Beginner and intermediate certificates. So
They work hard to improve it every year. So
They do.
we try to be helpful to them too.
But
And
they
there's a
ran a
hos-
pretty
there's
good
a
show
hospital.
last year.
there's a hospital nearby too.
Hey, when you had a for real Las Vegas chef complete in his in his outfit, to grill hamburgers that were out of this world. I mean, come on, man.
Did you try the brats?
Yeah, it's the best $5 hamburger I
did.
ever saw.
I think
man.
I tried the brats and the hamburger.
Yep.
Yep.
And what more?
Y'all are about to talk me into it. Brats and good hamburger. I could be
Oh, yeah.
hungry.
You should come.
And free soda pops.
Okay, I'll look into the tickets tomorrow.
Hey, Joe Gilbert, are you familiar with the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge?
I know Ruben and the boys, yes, but it's a long ways from here to Las Vegas. Are they BOM on Sunday or is it non-BOM?
It's BOM. And that was kind of funny. It was BOM and appearance points, I think, in all the events, but they still, if you wanted to fly in, I mean, Steve McBride was loaning airplanes to anybody who wanted to fly one. And let's see, but they were still BOM. Or, you know, for appearance.
Lodke won with a borrowed airplane in his class.
That's it. He won advance with a Kiyosaki.
You're not going to be Howard without appearance point.
Joe, you're welcome to come and beat me with my own airplane.
I can't beat you without appearance points with your own airplane. You're all too good for that.
Yes, you can.
Shoot.
Joe, you're forgetting something, brother. We've seen you fly.
Okay. Yeah, but points is a big deal. I got a good blue max, but old blues hurt, you know.
It's, well,
Hey, just
old
come
blues
fly.
a take
Just
old
come
blues
fly.
a take apart now. So
All
It's
you gotta
going back
fix is one
together
wing panel.
slowly. The
All you gotta do
tail's
is one
back in
wing.
it. The tail's back in it, but we'll see.
Okay, Joe, bring that ringmaster of yours. You should get negative appearance points, but you could still win with it. So
yeah,
The way he flies, he can.
Yeah, that's so funny.
yeah. You bring a
so-
ringmaster and you could fly every event. What the heck? So
I mean that. Old time classic profile in Pampa and probably have a good chance of scoring in the top 5 and all, and even in Pampa. I've
Yeah.
seen him fly that thing,
mhm.
and he dusted some people flying some flapped airplanes that I thought were good pilots, but I'd
They
forgot
were
how
good.
good he was. They are good pilots, but you just really know how to fly a ringmaster.
no, Joe, he's going to pray for wind, and everybody's not going to fly, and he will.
That's
Yeah.
correct. It cost me though, Keith, flying old blue in the wind too much. Cost me, I think, a little bit. But
Mhm.
As an old airplane.
it don't owe me nothing. It was a good bird.
Yep, for a long time. How old was that airplane, Joe?
12, 10
Wow.
years.
You're kidding.
No, it's
Wow. No wonder Sparky talked about it the way he did.
He never liked that airplane when it's new.
Hey, Joe, is that
No.
when Colleen built that thing?
Say again?
Is that when Colleen built your airplane?
No, Colleen's never built an airplane
I know that.
for me to paint with, but she'd never built one.
No, I know that.
You got glue in my fingers now
Nice
from
air.
today. It's all good, y'all. Las Vegas would be fun. We'll see.
I like it as a contest that really closes out the season with a bang. You know, it's flying
Well,
stuff in Vegas in November. Yeah.
Ruben
Look into that.
will do a good job. I need to go just to see him, but we'll see. I'm not making a commitment till I talk to Colleen. I'm not going without her.
Well, that's the only reason I'm wanting you to come.
Years and years ago at Tucson, we didn't know Keith. And they had a burrito truck there in the morning for breakfast. So we got there. This would have been like 2004 or 5 or 6, one of those 3 years. And she was in line. She got her burrito and he looked at Keith and he said, "What do you want?" And he says, "Well, I want a hamburger or something too." And Clint says, "Well, I don't know him." And Keith turns and says, "I'm Keith Trussell, party at my house tonight." So that's how she met Keith. And yes, we went to the party and it was awesome.
We have
Keith and Barbara are always very, very, very nice to us.
So Al, is your system working now?
Yep, I'm all logged in. I can see everybody.
All right. So did you go to the Nats? Can you tell me, did you go?
No, I didn't go.
You didn't
No.
go. You didn't do speed or anything, huh? Or combat?
No,
Wow.
I can't do Brodak and the Nats. It's too close to each other. Work.
Looked like you had a good time at the Garber facility there, whatever they call it now. Smithsonian.
Oh yes, yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah, that was
I
amazing.
saw the pictures.
Nobody
pictures.
went there. It's in Virginia. That's
Yeah, I saw pictures of you there at the P40. I
Yeah.
have been in that same spot, and it's nice. I always love when I'm going there to see the. They used to call it the Garber facility. I understand it's not there anymore. They moved it. They call it something else now, but the restoration shop.
Mhm.
And that's interesting. I always enjoyed that.
I wish
But
I was there for 3 hours. I wish I could have stayed a lot longer. It was,
oh gosh, I know what you mean. I spent 2 days there and didn't see half of it.
and just looking at like the engines, the Allison engines and the Merlin engines on the
Mhm.
stands, and
Mhm.
the turbine engines. Looking at all that. They have the cutaway of the engines of the
Mhm.
turbine. That's amazing.
It is amazing. That's neat. I
all
wanted
that
to see
stuff,
the Enola Glen.
You know,
I-
there's
I want to see Enola Gay once
in
it
the
gets
20s
set.
and the 30s.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed too, they had APC props back in 1917 on some of those old German planes. Because that's
Wow, I
the
didn't know
first
that.
thing I'm looking at the single engine and the twin engine old planes. I'm saying, God damn, if that isn't an APC prop on that plane, the shape identical. The tips, because I'm always messing with props and repitching them and looking at the tips and sanding it to get every ounce of speed, out of the plane. And I swear that it was an APC prop. That's where they got that design from. I'll look
still cut the back of your finger.
What's that?
Would it still cut the back of your finger?
Yeah, right. But I'm saying, if you'll be amazed that I got a picture on my phone of it. I don't know if I can bring it up, but it's I got Stunthangar running on it too.
If you ever get to DC, I was at the Garber facility in the 80s when it was just Quonset huts, but the Udvar Hazy Museum in Virginia is really one of the finest airplane museums I've ever been to. The one on the mall in DC is the most popular museum in DC. But if I given my choice, I'd go to the Udvar Hazy Museum in a minute over the one on the mall. They're both wonderful, but the Udvar Hazy, I just can't say enough good things about it.
I don't know if you guys could see that, if you can make it.
Oh yeah. Make it big. 1 second.
A scimitar prop.
Wow. Look at that.
Now that's 1917.
Wow.
Yeah.
You recall what airplane that was on?
Yeah. Well, I got it.
They knew things.
It's not shown.
Doesn't look like much ground clearance either.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about some craziness. Those planes didn't have throttles.
What kind of plane is that, Al?
Well, first off, it's a German.
It's HALBERSTAD.
Halberstadt.
Halberstadt, yeah, Halberstadt.
CL number 4.
Okay, that's a 2-seater. The gun on a ring and back and stuff like that.
Throw grenades out the back cockpit. That's about what they did.
Yeah.
And it looked like this twin had a couple of master air screws on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, were they righty and lefty or?
I didn't really notice that, but
I think they were both right.
I just was amazed at those props. I'm like, look at these propellers. And my kids are like, Dad, let's go to the next one. I said, no, I want to look at these props.
All I know is you take a look at some of the World War I airplanes, especially the bombers, and where they started putting gunners and stuff like that. That had to be the bravest people in the complete universe. Some of the places they put gunners on those things. Sitting right on top of an engine or on top of the airplane or between the tail fins, on between the struts and the wires and everything like that. Is like, these people are crazy.
Much armor either.
That's nice a word for it. But,
They really wanted to go to war.
And then,
some of the amazing thing was the gun synchronizers for the some of the like on the Sopwith and stuff like that had a gun synchronizer and would actually fire in rotation with the mags through the propeller.
Yeah, but if you look at some of those old planes, they had a wedge on the back of the propeller just in case it fouled up. It was to deflect the bullet off the prop.
That's what they used.
They still carried those.
Before they had the synchronizers, they had that.
And then they had the Discovery in there, the space shuttle, so the kids they could relate to that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
I was watching a video last night by Kermit Weeks. He has the I can't remember the name of his museum down in Florida, and I've been there. I've
It's
been there
called
earlier this year.
Discovery, is it?
Fantasy of Flight?
Yeah, Fantasy of Flight. Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
Fantasy of Flight, that's it.
Well,
That's
Kermit
Kermit.
was visiting, I think he was on his way to Oshkosh, but he stopped at the Kalamazoo Air Zoo up in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And they named it the Air Zoo because the first airplanes they had on display, they had a Warhawk, a Hellcat, a Wildcat, you know, so it was the zoo was all of these animal names that, you know, of the warplanes that they had on display. Well, over the years, they consolidated with what had been the Jackson, Michigan Space Museum and a few other things. They have a really, really nice collection there. So Kermit Weeks was there visiting, and he was noticing, well, things like in his museum, the best year he ever had, he had 40,000 people go through it. And Kalamazoo was, you know, their last full year before COVID, they got over 200,000, and they're heading, you know, right now they're on pace to get 300,000 this year. And he was just, you know, just amazed at that because, you know, at numbers like that, he could have kept his museum. Right now, the museum is just kind of a shadow of itself, of what it used to be. But at any rate, he's going through and made note of things like they put in a bunch of kiddie rides and stuff like that. And gee, you know, you notice the parking lot's full, and he gets inside and all these families are there, and they got these little kiddie rides, you know, like carnival rides and stuff like that. And the people are all riding that. Says, gee, nobody's looking at the airplanes, but they got 200,000 people coming through here, and they're paying the bills. You know, it's like, you know, so you could see the wheels turning. And said, you know, he wanted to be a little more true to history with his museum, of course, and everything like that. But, you know, it takes bucks. It takes bucks to keep the doors open.
You gotta pay the bills.
You know, and you know, Kermit has like one of the largest collections ever. Apparently we bought the old Frank, the Tall Man's collection and things like that. And he's got like 250 airplanes on his site, and he's got a little hangar with about 24 of them on display. You know, and that's it. So, and what he's got is incredible, but you know, he's not able to really sustain anything with it. So it just thought that was interesting in the context of what you were just saying about the museums in Washington, because those apparently are popular, and apparently they do it with just people looking at airplanes. Do they have things like kiddie rides or interactive things like that to try to get families involved at those places?
17, I think.
What, the Hazy or
No,
the Smithsonian or anything like that?
The Smithsonian is a national museum. There's
Yeah,
not
right.
even no
Correct.
admission.
But
The
this is
Hazy, I don't recall, but no, it's not. There's no kiddie rides or anything like that.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. There's
Ryan,
people looking at fantastic historical airplanes.
What is that yellow one there?
PT-22?
Let me show what Al is showing.
Yeah, I didn't show this one on my
Oh.
Facebook post. They had
Wow,
a
that's
beautiful
pretty.
PT-22 there. Oh, what's going on?
Oh, you got to
my
touch
screen
the
went-
screen or something. There we go. Wow,
Gorgeous.
that looks gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. Look how,
And then the name on the front, then they had a Blackbird, you know, that thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And
Not
then,
changing. Art shows airplane with back in the background looked like chipmunk.
Looked like.
and then this is the name on the front, above the front door. I guess
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all you've seen in backwards stuff.
Oh, okay.
And admission is free, but it's $15 to park your car. We had 5 people and $15 to park your car, and everybody goes in for free. And it was like 98 degrees out, and the AC in there was fantastic.
Wow.
Yep.
Joe, do you still have your chipmunk, or did you get rid of it?
I still got all 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it may take that to keep them going.
They had some racers there too, Mustangs and some other kind of. They had a
Wow.
Nemesis. A Nemesis was in there. They had a Nemesis.
That's the fastest thing ever for its class.
And then what was cool there, because I have a model of it. They had a Baka bomb there.
Mhm.
Yep. I have one that I use in, we have an event called Warbird in racing. So that's, so I know the history behind the Backup bomb and all that stuff. But yeah, it was really, really cool,
I got tickled at the Bearcat in there. I can't think of the name of it right now. Some days I remember everything. Which one?
Smirnoff, the racer.
I think it was a Smirnoff sponsor, but it was it's the white one with gold trim. Yeah, it's a beautiful airplane. I knew it was well maintained, but that thing looked like a model airplane. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's really, really pretty.
Charles, just to change the subject for a minute, I think we have a national champion, a new
Yeah, I
national
was
champion in our
hoping
presence
to
here.
get a chance to welcome him in here. Let me welcome our beginner national champion, Tom Creasy. Make it big, Tom, and congratulations. That's awesome. I fly with a couple of beginners, and so hopefully Carl could be inspired. You mind showing Carl that hardware? Maybe he could. He'd like to be able to tote one of those around.
Close.
That's going to be an interesting little paper stop on your workbench there for the next year, ain't it? So.
Yeah,
Carl, this is
all right.
You win that with the
This is what you could win, Carl. You and Joe Mata. Joe Mata, if you're listening, Joe, this could be you.
Did you win that with the FMCA? You might have trouble getting it off the bench.
Yeah.
What's your question, Joe Gilbert?
Did he win that with the Stuka?
No, I won that with my Hurricane.
Okay.
Well, congratulations.
No, the Stuka was the old time.
That's awesome, Tom.
Well done, Tommy.
And did I hear you say you already spilled some CA on the bottom so it can't move or something like that? Oh.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat with it. I sleep with it.
Yeah.
I go to the store with it.
Yeah.
Just put a black light test when it's over.
Make a good hood ornament for the front of your car.
Oh yeah, up there at the top there, that eagle. Yeah. Yeah, it really felt good to win it. It took me 5 years, and actually I'm kind of glad because I'm ready to move up.
That's excellent.
That's a big step moving up too, from beginner to intermediate. That is like, I thought that was quite a big step. Learning the pattern is a big step up. Wow.
And plus, I picked me up a Skyray that's fully built. It's got looks like the Fox engine's been rebuilt. New needle valve assembly on it. It's got a Fox muffler on it. Brand new tank. A Skyray. That ought to be a good flyer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I've got 2 others that are back up. So I've got 3 or 4 planes that, I hate to crash the Skyray, but the other planes, at least I can start learning.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's on the bench there? It looks like twin boom of some sort.
It's a Bearcat, and I had some questions. It's
is that a John Lowry design?
It's a Bob Barron.
Bob
Yeah.
Barron.
Yeah, 1980. It's actually a half A.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
And it flies so screaming fast you won't believe it.
That's the elevator.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's 26 inches long.
That's got Bill Nez band all over it.
That thing flies so stinking fast you won't believe it.
Bob Barris had one, and I seen it fly. And man, it did the whole pattern like a big airplane. And it was 049. I thought it was wow. But on the plans, it's got a real long nose to compensate the weight in the back. And I'm not familiar with bladders. I don't work with them very often. Anyway, it's supposed to be a cylinder bladder that goes right in here with 7/8 diameter. And then this nose is probably, I don't know. I got to measure. It's probably 11 inches long.
Oh my goodness.
And this, it's for a Novell. So I got a Novell here. But the thing of it is, I don't want to put the bladder in the wing. So in other words, I do have a mount for Noel, or a Novell. I need at least 1 ounce of gasoline to complete the pattern. So if this is a mount, I'm going to have all this weight and the fuel out on the nose, which is going to throw the center of gravity. I'll be too nose heavy.
Yep.
But what would I do? Like take this and fill it with fuel with 1 ounce, weigh it, figure out how much it weighs. Is there any way, can I move that moment of the engine towards the leading edge to compensate this weight movement?
Oh, it's
Yes.
exactly what you're gonna have to do. I'm pretty sure Bob flew his with a TD, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
His was a
think-
TD.
Yeah, so you have to figure out what the weight of the TD was way out there. That becomes your benchmark, and then weigh the Norvell. You're
I see
probably
the
just
keys.
engine to
Well,
engine. You'd
the,
probably want to shorten the nose because I'm sure the Norvell is heavier than the TV or the TD was.
Keith is holding up the plans there.
The
Yeah.
set of plans I got from AMA,
Yeah,
and it's made with a Norvell.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, man, for a half
Good
A, this is
gracious.
the biggest half A plans I've ever had.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, see the Novell on there?
Yeah.
Now, that bladder, I want to do away with that. So I don't know what, should I come in 1 inch?
We'd have to do a bit of a weight analysis.
That's,
You need
that's,
to-
Well, I got a suggestion. You could put a tube on this, that nose is so long. You could run a,
there you go.
you could put a tube
Yeah.
on the side of it and put the bladder in that.
Look what Keith's got, a diesel.
No,
Ah,
that's an Orville.
Was it a Norvell?
Yeah.
yeah, that's sweet.
A suggestion on figuring out how to balance it is cobble together, if you're not making it pretty, the fuselage. Is it a representation of the fuselage?
Right.
Get it there, start with the stock length, get your engine, your tank and all that. And
Thank you,
then
Keith.
start finding where it balances. And you can then
Oh, I'm
you know
sorry.
where it's gotta be. You can cut the fuselage off at that point, and it should
Hey.
balance or come close.
Yeah.
That's the easy way.
With that big an elevator in the back, 4 pound to 6 pound wood would make it different. That's a huge elevator.
Yeah, it is.
Tell you what, he flew that thing so fast.
He did fly him fast.
So
Bob had unbelievable reflexes. He was
He
amazing.
and Wild Bill were playing with those types of non-flapped stunners. I watched him win VSC with one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Tom,
Nobody could deny that Bob Barron could fly.
Absolutely.
Oh, no.
And
He definitely could fly.
I've had the privilege, along with several others, of flown his airplanes. And quite frankly, don't know how he managed it, but he could make those things fly.
He practiced a lot.
Hang on, Phil. Let me get Jim Hoffman in here.
No, I don't need to say anything.
Go ahead, Jim.
So Tom Creasy asked us a very specific question, what to do with that nose, because he doesn't want to use a bladder mounted at the CG. So you could, if it was me, I'd be making a crude calculation. I would look at the weight of that motor from the plans and the distance that motor is from the CG. And that's a moment, that's a distance times a mass. And I calculate that. And then I would start, look at the motor I'm going to use and the fuel system I'm going to use and lay out what you think looks right and calculate the moment of that equipment from the CG you want, from the same CG, and look at those moments, and you want those to be equal. So now you could adjust fore and aft the installation you're contemplating to get the moment to be the same. And that would be a good starting point.
But
Yeah.
if you got the,
That's exactly right.
if you got
Thank you, Jim. That's awesome.
Spoken like a good engineer.
if you got the tank well forward, you're still going to have a problem with burning an ounce of fuel during the flight.
That's correct. That's
And
exactly.
Yep.
one
that's
thing
true.
you can do to mitigate that a little bit is move the tank back and go ahead and use muffler pressure. You can get muffler pressure off those things, and it does produce enough pressure into the tank that might be able to move that tank further back without having such extreme changes in the CG.
I agree.
Something to think about.
Okay.
There's a
say
lot of
that
merit
again.
to the bladder
I
design.
can hardly hear you, and I'm trying to pay attention to what you just said.
Did you miss what Jim Hoffman said, Tom? Is that what you have a question about?
Yeah, I think that's his name. I don't, it says Trostel.
Oh,
Well, that's Keith.
no, I was just suggesting, might want to think about using the muffler pressure off that Norvell, which you can do. And
Oh, yeah.
and be able to move the tank. I don't know whether you can move it clear back to the wing, but you can move it back significantly to where the CG wouldn't be quite so severe a change as it burns off the fuel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, see, this one has it's got a muffler on it. But someone told me that to get these Novell run right, to take the muffler off and open her up.
No,
No,
they run beautifully. The best thing to do is do nothing. Leave it alone.
Correct.
Beautiful as
Pressure.
is.
Pressure.
and use the muffler pressure. It's not much, but it's
Okay.
enough. It's enough to give you an even fuel flow throughout the whole tank. It works.
Now this came with it. I don't know how many ounces that is.
The trouble with that is the nose has to be so long, and you got all the weight out at the end of the nose. As you burn that fuel up, you're going to all of a sudden get real tail heavy. Or not all of a sudden, but as the flight goes on, you get more and more tail heavy, and it will cause you problems.
Or you're going to start
Well,
out.
maybe
You're going to start out
maybe
nose
what I
heavy and end up tail heavy.
maybe what I should do is weigh everything with an empty tank.
Well, I think Keith gave you a real good idea, and so did Jim. But Keith's idea is to get your tank under muffler pressure and move it back closer to the CG. So as that fuel burns off, that ounce burns off, it won't have as much moment arm. But if you put it right behind the engine like that, it's got a moment arm, a pretty large moment arm, and will
For a
make
small
a
airplane.
Yeah.
You're going to start off nose heavy and end up tail heavy. Either way, you're going to do that. The
You
bladder-
got to put the tank, almost put the tank in the wing. You just almost have to.
yeah.
You're gonna have to put it back at least right in front of the wing, because if you put it out at the motor with that long nose moment, you're gonna do just what Keith said. You're gonna start off nose heavy, end up tail heavy, and be terribly confused in between.
That's why bladder.
It's gonna make it a nightmare to fly.
Or,
I've done one like that, and I ended up going back and putting the tank where the designer said put it and do it the way he said do it. You know what? It worked.
You're looking at a 9-ounce airplane probably.
Hang on, Joe. I'm sorry, Joe. Jim, go ahead, Jim, and then you're next, Joe Gilbert.
There's a lot of merit to the design as it's drawn. I built an airplane. I built an airplane with a bladder, and it worked beautifully. And the whole concept is, as that fuel burns off, the CG doesn't change. If you move the tank away from the engine, that opens doors to fuel drop issues.
yeah.
That bladder design makes all of that just go away. And
Yeah.
it's not hard to do. I'm a neophyte. I'm a stunt guy. I never had a combat plane in my life. And I did it successfully on the first try.
I'm gonna need,
Me too.
I'm probably gonna need to do some research then and get me a tank for the inside of this wing, the way it's supposed to.
That'd be the recommended thing. It needs a long nose to balance right. If you
Talk to
Right.
Mike Lonke.
Yeah, that's what I was
Talk to
thinking.
Mike Lonke. He can put you onto the tube and all the hardware that you'll need.
Yes.
and the article says flying
Well,
with
hang on, Keith. I'm sorry, Keith. Joe Gilbert, you wanted to say something. I
I
stepped
just
on.
gonna expound on Keith's. You're looking at a say an 8-ounce airplane,
14.
and you move an ounce out of the nose of that. That's a large percentage. It will not work doing that. It just can't.
Yeah.
And the
There's no way.
bladder's not a big deal, Tommy. It's really not. They look
Okay.
complicated.
Yeah,
Just
it
pop
says
it
on
inside of it and use it.
It says on the plans, it's a 14-ounce plane.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But here's what it says. Fuel compartment made from a BT-50 rocket tube.
It's a
Oh,
cardboard
so it's
tube.
cardboard.
Yeah, it's a bladder tube.
Plug-ins with 1/8-inch sheet. Plug the ends of the rocket tube, and I guess put it and epoxy it in there.
All you're doing is sealing that compartment in case there's a failure of keeping fuel from getting into the airframe. That's all you're doing with that bladder and
Yeah.
containing it. That's all it is.
Mhm.
With that,
It's not near as hard as it looks. You're going to put a hole in the top of it that you're going to put your bladder in and slide it in and then fuel it up and it'll expand in that tube. Then you got a hole at the outside of it on the bottom, just in case you get a rupture. It's where the fuel comes out of it and goes out in the air and on the ground or whatever. So it's not stuck in your airplane. It's really, there's no magic to it.
So the rocket tube, I would actually put a pipe out of it in case there's a leak. It can drain out of the pipe, right?
It's just a
Not
hole.
a pipe, just a hole. Just a drainage hole.
It's just a drainage hole, and it's probably gonna end up right on the skin of the airplane.
Mhm.
And it just glue it well, epoxy it well to the skin, and then put a hole in the bottom of it.
Epoxy
And away you
Carl
go.
Reed's got one in front of us here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like this, and then this is the let's see, this is the wooden dowel that you epoxy in, and then you just, depending which end you want to use and how this sets in the wing, you just cut a hole right here for your bladder to fit in, and that's all there
Show
is
me
to
that.
it.
Hold it
Can you
higher.
show me
Keith.
that.
Lift it a little higher there.
What's the other end look like?
Okay, all that is I'm trying to, there we go. All that is a thin piece of balsa wood. I forgot how thick it is.
What's the other end look like?
Well, I don't have a plug on the other end, but you do both ends. You do both ends the same way.
You could use
Yours is
fluorescent fluorescent
See-
lamp tubes.
See, you
Yeah,
plug
speaking
you
of-
plug this in. Or here, let me do it. You plug this in the same way as you do this in. And then you just epoxy that in.
Yep.
And then what you do is when you get that done, you just take it, you glue it in your wing. Of course, it depends how long you want it. And then you just cut a hole accordingly, just big enough so that your bladder will slide in the hole.
And all that has to be coated with epoxy on the inside.
Well, no, that's
the tube?
no, because the rocket tube is already waxed or coated on the inside.
No.
Or is
won't-
that wrong? Well, it's been so long since I made one, I may be incorrect on that, but yeah. Now, what a lot of people do is they just spray polyurethane in there and just move it around so it soaks into the cardboard.
Okay.
You could
Now where do
buy,
I get my hands on one of these?
you could get a tube at the Home Depot for fluorescent lights.
Yeah.
That.
Tom, do you have
Keep
any
in mi-
combat friends?
What's that?
Do you have any combat friends?
No, I'm the only one around here for miles.
Yeah.
I mean, probably from state to state.
And I
It's like
interrupted Keith Trossel. Did you want to say something else, Keith?
Really,
Do they,
350 square inch airplane, big airplane.
It is a big airport.
Mike, have you been listening to this part, this last couple minutes? Mike, are you there?
hey, Mike, are you out there?
I see
Maybe
it. I
he's
think you
frozen.
might be frozen up.
Hey, Charles, can you make me big again?
Anytime, Richard.
Sure.
Oh, that's
The power to
I don't
make
go by
people
Charlie.
big.
I go by Charles.
Charles. I'm sorry.
It's
All right,
okay,
this-
Richard.
All right, this is a completed. Let's see where we're at. This is a completed. There we go. Rocket tube.
Hold it still.
I'm trying to see how that one's plugged up,
Yeah,
and then you do the same thing on the other end,
yeah.
and then you just after you get it glued in the wing, like I said, then you just go
Raise it up.
Where's your hole at?
Well, this one doesn't have a hole yet. I started this one, and for some reason I didn't finish the plane, or something happened. I don't remember.
I have a completed one I can show.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
All right, Mike. Take it away, Mike. Show them the department.
Like Al was saying, fluorescent light bulb tube.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's a cover for fluorescent light bulbs. They come in different sizes, for the big light bulbs, for the medium ones, and for the small ones. You probably want a small one because it's a half-A model. You buy this cover, it's a 3 or 4 foot length, whatever it is. They're $2 or $3. You whack it off however long you want it. You glue in some balsa plugs, right?
Yep.
You
It's 7/8.
got one big hole right there.
Well, that looks like a 1/2 inch hole.
So that is so your bladder can go in the airplane. Okay? That's inside your wing.
How much does that hold right there? Fuel.
Lot.
I need
This?
it now. I need at
Oh,
least
God,
1 ounce
this-
of fuel.
Well, this would hold almost 2.5 ounces. You're not going to use one this big. You're going to use a much smaller one for half-A.
Well,
Your bladder is a lot smaller than this one is. This is just an example, but it just would be smaller. There's a hole on the bottom right here. Okay, so the big hole for the bladder is right here. Straight opposite on the bottom is also a hole in the bottom of the bladder
how
tube.
big is that?
I don't know, 1/8 inch, whatever, just big enough so that if the bladder breaks,
The drain.
the fuel has a place to drain. Okay? Even though this is a sealed compartment,
Right.
you want it to be able, it's got to have 2 holes so air can get in and the fuel can get out.
I need it to be 7/8 of diameter. What is the diameter of that?
This is over 1 inch, I think. Probably. 7/8 for a half-A, huh? Yeah, this is 1.25 inches. Just use the BT rocket tube that they're telling you to use. That's fine. You can get them on Estes. You can get them on the Estes website. That's a rocket.
I have access to the fluorescent tubing.
Okay, all right. So yeah, you're going to want to use one for half-A bladder tubing, which is a lot smaller.
That'd be like what, for a T5 bulb? You've seen the T5.
Yeah, for the small one. For the small one.
Yeah, the high output T5
Because
bulb.
your half-A bladder is going to be that big as opposed to this big. Okay? This is your half-A bladder on the bottom. So yeah, you only need less than 1 inch diameter for that. But I mean, the gist of it is you got your hole on the top to put your bladder in, you got your hole on the bottom, and then the way you would mount it in the airplane would be something similar to this. Typically, they go just right behind the spar and between 2 ribs. You make it big enough to fit between 2 ribs, It's mounted up close to the spar. And on the combat planes, they do a little bit of glass tape around the tube and the spar before they cover them and but you'll find different ways to, secure it in there. But the important thing, you got your hole on the top, you got your hole on the bottom, going through the covering so that it'll drain if you break a bladder, which you will. And listening to your conversation earlier about wanting to run that Norvell on a tank, my suggestion is follow the plans and run it on a bladder.
All right. Well, I after I seen what you just showed me, I could handle that. They even showed me on the plans how to make a you take your finger on the nose, on the bottom of the nose. When you grab it, there's a little piece of balsa that you push in, and that pinches it off. So you can pinch it off. Because I know Bob, he had problems there with the hemostat trying to get it started.
I'll send you some of these. Give me your address. This is it. IV slide clamp. Okay, these come off of IVs. I have a friend who is a nurse, and she sends me these. And the way these work, it's an IV slide clamp. It's open right now. After you fuel, your line is pinched off. When you get ready to start your engine, you push the slide clamp off and you can pinch the line till your engine starts. Once your motor starts, then you can let go and open up. And it doesn't, as long as you don't have a whole bunch of fuel line out there, it doesn't matter that this is flopping around out there. We use these on every one of our.
Can I have my bladder hose come out of the bottom of the wing instead of the top of the wing?
You wouldn't want to do that.
You could, but I don't. Yeah, like Al said, you wouldn't want to do that.
Okay, the reason why I said that is because that way when you're looking at when the plane's on the tarmac, you don't see a hole sticking out. You know.
Well, the way I understand it, that airplane has a pretty long nose on it, right?
Yep.
One thing you could do to clean it up is where it exits the bladder tube and runs to the engine. You could take some cotter pins, maybe just 2, and put them on the top of the nose, and just leave the round part open and run your fuel line through there, so you don't have. Because how long did you say that nose was? 9 inches or something?
Well, 11 inches.
In the nose
11
itself,
inches. That's so you need a way to kind of trap that fuel line and keep it from going all over the place. So a couple of little keepers along the way would clean it up and make it look nice, I think.
I have a question for Tom.
All right, hang on a second. Howard Rush had his hand raised digitally. And Howard, I'm sorry, when I make someone big, it obscures everybody else. And so that's why I don't catch things on a timely manner. But go ahead, Howard.
I've used bladders over the years.
Yeah.
You may not want to have a drain hole in a mess of your airplane. If you drain it, if you attach a tube to it, that might help. And put it on the far end of the tube. That way it will let air out and inflate the bladder. What we did in later years was to train the bladder, which you do by holding it, and you don't want to inflate first. And inflate it such that it blows up initially at the far end, distal end, the medical term. That way you don't need a drain hole because you're not trapping air in the bladder tube. But you don't have to do that. You can put a drain hole there, but be sure to to have it go to the outside from the far end of the tube, such that when the bladder pops, it won't mess up your airplane. And you can iron monocoat on plugs on either end. And that saves some weight over smearing epoxy on it. And epoxy them in, and such that it seals the tube so fuel can't get out. If you use the BT50 rocket body tube, you'll want to fuel proof the inside. Dope is not fuel proof, but epoxy is. Make sure there's no little chunks of epoxy sticking up, because they'll pop the bladder. Well, we ironed Fastgal on the, well, I ironed Fastgal on the inside of bladder tubes. That's rather an extremist thing to do. Those are my bladder stories. Mike has good advice, so listen to mine.
Thank you very much, Howard. Appreciate that. Let me, I think it was Phil that I interrupted. And then I have a hand raised by Al as well. So go ahead, Phil.
Well, I don't know if I should tell this or not, but when I did mine, my Bearcat, mine was very short-lived, but it wasn't because of any of this. I took, where it comes out of the wing, out of the bladder, I took a piece of aluminum tubing and buried it in the fuselage. You couldn't see it. And it went in the fuselage back at the back. Just the bladder just came out of the wing and went over about 2 inches. So I had to have 2 inches up so I could have something to pinch. And it went into this piece of aluminum tubing. Aluminum tubing went into the fuselage, went up through the fuselage, and came out right behind the motor. And there was a piece of maybe inch of tubing that came out of that and went into the motor, and it worked fine. That worked fine. It was just I got out there and I got flying mine in the backyard and just was having such a good time. My daughter said something I thought was funny, and I looked around, looked at her instead of what I was doing, and hit the side of the deck with the thing. So,
oh man,
well, you do stupid things sometimes, you know. But I'm gonna tell you what, it's not a terribly fragile airplane, but you don't want to hit the deck with it.
No.
So anyway.
Thank you, Phil.
It pretty well destroyed it, but just a little piece of aluminum tubing that goes the length of that fuselage. It's much lighter than fuel tubing. You can bury it, not have to worry about it, and it just cleans the whole thing up. But it's much lighter than a piece of fuel tubing, and it's not banging around in the air.
Very cool. And Al, before I go to you, Al, I'm sorry, Edward Sutter in the chat. He said, if I win the lottery tonight, I'll drive to Vegas and watch. Now, if you win the lottery, shouldn't you fly to Vegas? I don't know.
That. Fly in his own plane.
Buy your own.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna buy a new car, drive a new car to Vegas. Is that right, Ed? That's probably how it's gonna go. If it wins the lottery, might even get an RV and go to Vegas, right? And go ahead, Al.
Okay, so it's just a question for Tom on the plans. It's sort of what Phil was just explaining. I think I flew one of those planes already. So from the bladder comes out with flexible tubing, then it goes to a pipe that runs along the fuselage, and then
hang on, Al. I'm so sorry to interrupt. You know what? Tom Creasy's computer crashed. Said he'll be back, so I don't want you to have to parrot that again.
All right.
So when he comes back, then we'll continue. Anything but Stuart, you have something you want to say? Hopefully it's not about Tom Creasy because he's not back yet.
This is kind of RC, but I just wonder if somebody might be able to help me out. I got a 20 cc DLE motor that I'm trying to mount, and the muffler. What I would like to do, I use copper here, but I'd like to find out, does anybody know where you can get like an inside diameter 1/2 inch tubing that I could bring down like this, so I can bring and deflect it down to the bottom of the cowl? Does anybody know of anything that's available besides? I use copper, kind of heavy, and I don't like the weight at the outside with vibration.
You might try McMaster Car.
McMaster Car would be my best. They should have it.
What's that? Master Car? It's called
McMaster Car.
It's a distributor.
If you look it up on the internet, just McMaster Car, just like it sounds.
MC Master -CARR.
Yeah. And their website is not the easiest to use, so have a little patience. But if it's made, they've probably got it.
Okay,
Well,
are they,
you can call up. You
are
can
they
call them up on their
RC?
phone number. They're very helpful.
That's
Okay.
what I ended up doing.
Are they
I didn't have
RC
it.
or just, is it something else?
No, they're just hardware. They're just
Industrial.
buy industrial aluminum tubing from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give that a try. I got to run too. I got to go to bed. Thanks.
All right,
So
Stuart,
Mike
thank you
asked
for coming
for
in.
See you
thick
later.
wall silicone tubing too. Thick wall silicone rubber tubing.
Yeah,
Might be-
they can do it.
From them?
From anywhere. Yeah.
They have it. They have it too.
All right, I'll check into that. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I gotta run.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Have a great week. See you Monday, I hope.
Yeah.
And I have a couple comments also from the chat box. Old control line pilot, that's Bob Whitley up in Canada. He says, hi from the scorching north, like given. Thank you very much, Bob. And he says, hope to see you Monday. Thank you, Bob. And then Edward Sutter, to clarify, he said, I would drive so I could bring a plane or two. Yeah, that'll work. Or you can have a chauffeur drive you to Las Vegas too, so you can.
If he won that $1 billion, he could buy his own plane and you have it flown in with him and his airplane.
Yeah, so you can hire a pilot or just charter an airplane, and you have
That's
your
almost
airplanes.
300 million. I think you can afford it.
Yeah, one of those nice coach buses and have it chauffeur and staff.
And maybe you could pay Mark Lumen to fly him out there. You know, whatever Mark's normal rate is. Maybe Mark, you could just, Mark
ain't cheap, but he's reasonable.
Yeah. And then we also have Bob Whitley. Bob Whitley also is a pilot. Are you a pilot also, Joe Gilbert?
For fun, yes.
For fun, okay.
I don't have.
But he just won the lottery. He just won the lottery fictitiously. So I mean, he might want your company and be willing to pay for it.
Yeah, I could direct him.
And then
like the old rubber barons used to do and have a private rail car.
Yeah, we could spend your money for you, Tom. We'll I mean, not Tom, but Edward.
Yeah, we're good at that.
We'll show you how to spend your money right. And then Tom Creasy says, I have went to junkyard and got several different size aluminum tube from AC lines in cars. There's lots of bends. Okay. That's an idea. And Mark, your background is are you showing your winning lottery ticket?
You say you're sharing with us if you win?
Oh, sure, man. I mean, I never buy these things anyway, but when it got to that amount, I'm like, you know what? What's $20? Yeah.
A McCoy 35.
Used to be. I got four of those red hats, and I have to say, just maybe it's the way Dave taught me, whatever. But I can make those things run great.
That's right.
They just don't run long. They run great.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. Hey, Mike Lonke, Joe Mata, those old vintage airplanes. He was wondering if he could put a McCoy redhead in those old Woodies that he got.
He can put anything he wants in them as long as he's got a fuel system that works and they balance okay.
All right, Joe Mata, if you're listening, you got your answer.
Just a lot of caster.
Yeah, McCoy, a lot of caster. Don't run one that you've been running on castor oil. Don't try putting. I'm just going to run 2 or 3 flights on his fuel that's all synthetic, because you'll end up with a worn out motor that you actually had and didn't know it, because it cleaned every bit of the carbon residue out of it. Not carbon, but the oil residue. Running on synthetic after you've been running on castor, that don't work. Don't ask how I know that, but.
What are you doing, Joe?
I'm going to go to bed. It's 10:30.
All right. Well, thank
Oh
you very
my
much.
God.
I appreciate that, Joe. I know you guys are back in Oklahoma on a different time zone. Appreciate
It's
it.
all awesome. Proud to be home.
Thank
Good
you.
to see
Tell
y'all.
Colleen I said hi.
We'll do
Indeed.
that.
And have her come in
Take care.
sometime too. Have her join you.
We'll
Unless
do that.
she's, yeah, have her
Take
join
care,
you.
Joe. Hope to see you Monday.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
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 And now we're
He
down
must
to
have something
13,
he's got to do tomorrow.
maybe. And we have we're up to 26 people live watching us, and we have 24 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do that. We don't have any
I will,
chat
for it'll be
revenue. Consider the chat, super chat down in the bottom of the chat box, $sign. And then there's also our YouTube channel memberships, which started just $4.99. So please consider doing that. And Tom Rammel's in here. Tom Rammel's one of our VIPs.
All right.
And what does your shirt say, Tom? You want to show us your shirt? It's still playing with airplanes. Yes, I like that shirt.
I do too.
Yes. Thank you.
Look what he's got. Look what he's got over his left shoulder. An old stunt man.
An old stunt man. I didn't mean to make it big in.
The plans. To
Oh
a stunt
yeah,
man.
yeah. Very, very good eye. Very good. Thanks for coming in.
Pretty neat.
So what's going on with you, Tom? I know you mentioned the EAA earlier.
Yeah, EAA is going on this week, and at Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So my son's there. I've just been following it online.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned they're building a full-size airplane in 1 week.
Oh, I didn't know it was a full-size airplane. I thought it was a model airplane you was talking about.
Oh, it's full-size.
Oh,
And,
Lord.
I helped. They've done this 2 times in the past, and I helped on both the other 2 airplanes. This is the 3rd time they've done it at Oshkosh.
And do you have a pilot's license as well, Tom?
Yes.
So did you volunteer to fly that plane that was built in 1 week?
No, no, I didn't get to fly that one.
Do you have a tab open, Tom, by chance?
I don't know. Let me check.
Thank you. And looks like Eddie's coming in. Is this Eddie Sutter?
Yeah.
Eddie, you made it in. Thank you, Eddie.
I just got back. I was at a birthday party. I couldn't get on the chat.
Eddie, do you happen to have a tab open by chance? Is it you?
No.
Okay.
On my phone, so I don't have. I was just
All
gonna
right.
get on real quick before y'all cut off to go to your after show. What I've been doing this afternoon. This video over. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but it's.
Let me make it big. Just 1 second, Eddie. What are we looking at? Oh, is that it's a plane to hold your airplanes.
Yeah, it goes in. That'll mount to. Let's see. It'll mount to a 2x4 frame.
Wow.
And it's just PVC pipe. 45s on it. And I can just slide these. Come off. These aren't glued on the front and the back.
Wow. How many airplanes can you carry with that?
7.
7. Are you thinking about going to a combat meet, or is this for a stunt?
No, this is just. I had one before, but I made it out of Schedule 40 half-inch, and it didn't last very long. The UV rays got a hold of it and just kind of tore it up. But this one's out of 3/4 inch Schedule 80. And,
This will last a lot longer.
Oh wow! You know what? I think mine in my is half-inch Schedule 40. I didn't think about doing that.
Yeah, son gets 2 of those.
When got it in the back of the truck. Let's pull it out. Rest it on the tailgate. It'll all be level. Like that. Y'all can see that or not?
Yeah, we see it.
And then all
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
think
do-
mine is lasted because mine's in an SUV, so it doesn't get a lot of direct sun, and the
Right.
windows are tinted in the back, so maybe that's been the saving grace.
Anyway, I was just gonna get on.
Pretty neat, Eddie.
I know. A couple of weeks ago, we was talking about transport devices and everything. Everybody showing how they transport their planes. That's what I got. I wish I'd have had more planes when I went down to fly with Mike, but that didn't happen.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Eddie.
Because when I go fly, I'm not trying to or nothing like that. I'll fly whatever, I'll fly a couple flights with my shoestring and then fly my dad's Goldberg Cosmic Wind, and I might fly the Tudor 2, and then I'll fly whatever else I got that'll run. So I take them all when I go. Whatever's, I got is it PC3 Air Cobra? Whatever the Air Cobra is. The Midwest Air Cobra.
Yeah.
Landing gear, one of those.
Yeah, that's what I gave. I gave one to Carl Reed. He hasn't done anything with it yet. I see. I have two hand raised, you guys. I see Al Fierro, and then I see Mark Lumen. Where'd Eddie go? Did Eddie finish?
It almost looked like.
I know he was breaking up on my end.
He was breaking my end too. Go ahead, Al Fierro, and then Mark, you're after Al.
So yeah, I have a question for Tom about.
Quick thing here,
Oh.
Eddie, hang on a second, Eddie. You're breaking up. Your bandwidth is part of this.
I'm gonna go to bed. I just want to get on real quick and say hi. So
thank you, Eddie.
I'll see y'all next time.
Oh, Eddie.
Take care.
See you later. Night.
See you, Eddie. Go ahead. You got to continue, Al.
Yeah. Okay, so Tom, on your plane, along the fuselage, does the plan call for a pipe? And then at the end of the pipe,
right
and
there.
then on the end of the pipe, on the side of the fuselage, is there like a wedge block? That where,
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So out of that pipe, then you go flex tubing, and then the flex tubing goes into the spray bar assembly. So that wedge block is for when you start the plane. Instead, you can use your thumb there, and you hold the flexible tubing against that wedge block to pinch it off while you go to start it. I actually did fly one of those planes and start it, and it works really, really, well. It's easy.
Is the pipe? Does it go inside the fuselage and then comes back out again?
The one I saw, they had it on the outside, but you
Okay,
could
so-
do that. But
All
the one
right,
I saw went out, and it was on the outside, and then there was a little hardwood wedge block, and the point was facing to the outboard side. And you would, the flexible tubing, that's the spot to hold with your thumb to pinch off instead of using that device like Mike had.
Yep.
Like as when you're starting it, you could use that device that Mike had, like when you're just getting ready to run it. But when you open that up, you can use your thumb up against the fuel tubing against that block to stop it. You flip it, and it fires, and then you let a little more fuel out, or if it's too rich, you could pinch it there. It's a pretty reliable setup.
Yeah. See this view here?
Yeah.
This view is the top. This is the top view.
All right.
I see the wedge there. I'm not sure how to make that wedge.
It's just a
All I
piece of
see is a
hardwood.
triangle.
You want it point, it's a piece of hardwood, you want it sticking out, the point sticking out like a pyramid. Sticks, comes out at the top, except it's, like maybe about a ½ inch wide. And the fuel tubing goes over it. And when you go to start it, if you're holding it by the fuselage, you use your thumb up against the fuel tubing against the point of it. And that's how you pinch off the bladder. So it doesn't, you don't flood the
So
engine.
it's just a piece, it's just a triangle block.
Correct.
And then the fuel line travels right underneath that point, and then I just pinch that off right there at the
Right.
point of the triangle.
Right. And then
So there's not another mechanism to slide or
no. That's
okay.
just there to
All
pinch.
right.
That's just there to, like, if this is the tubing, this finger's the block and the tubing's going.
Are
through my
you
thumb
showing
and
me
that,
something? Because I can't see you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
there you go. You're bigger now,
All right.
Al.
I'm just saying, this is the edge of the block and the tubing's, coming across it. You take your finger and you pinch the tubing against the point of the block so it doesn't flood the engine. That you do that during the starting sequence, but and then you can have a pinch off, like after you can use that thing that Mike had after you do the initial fill and you get lock off the fuel and you're getting ready to get the glow plug on, the glow driver on, and you put a couple drops of fuel in it. Then you take open that thing up that Mike is giving you, and then you keep your thumb, when you're ready to start it, you just keep your thumb on the block just to pinch off the fuel tubing. Like on combat planes, we have like a pincher, like a clothespin type thing. You should get like a clothespin type thing also. They're handy to have also, just to make life easier. But that setup works really well. I would do it just exactly the way the plans call for it.
Okay.
And the plane flies good. I flew one.
Yep, I saw it fly several times that day, and I was like,
Yeah.
gotta have it. I gotta have it.
Yeah, it's a big plane for a half-A ship. I didn't think it was gonna fly that good, but it did.
Yeah. Well, when I first looked at it and I seen the big tail and I saw the long nose moment, I'm like, this is yep. I agree about the balance thing. I'm
Okay.
glad because I'm ready to get the wing done, but now I'm on hold.
Yeah.
I made some wing bucks for the front part of it. I've got it I got it drying right now.
Very good. Very good.
All I gotta do is just slide it right over.
Very good,
Glue it
Tom.
in. That took me a long time to make these damn things.
Yeah, but you know what? Once you make it once, you can use it over and over again.
It's a very weird looking plane, but it flies really good.
Yeah, I'm on my third day of building.
Very good.
3 days and got pretty far, I think.
Let me just welcome
Hey.
Steve Hines. Hi, Steve. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, can I tell you a little story?
Sure. Hang on one second, Tom. Mark,
All right.
did you have a quick question, Mark?
I was just
I'll leave
waving.
you
I was
hanging.
waving. I was waving at Steve.
Oh, the hand wave is for Steve. But you ever? Maybe I didn't lower your hand. You digitally.
Oh no. Yeah. I had something I wanted to share, but let Al finish. So.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm done.
All right, go ahead, Tom. Let me hear this story.
Hey, I don't know if anyone's ever had this happen, but when we left, we have a camper, and when we left Muncie, we got 20 miles west of Indianapolis, Indiana, and we blew a tire on the camper.
Oh no.
So I changed the tire, got back out on the road, drove for about 4.5 hours, and I'm 20 miles crossing the Illinois River to go into Peoria. and all 4 tires blew at once.
Oh shit.
Did you cheat at the Nats? Is that how you won? I mean, it's like bad karma.
Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. It was my buddy's trailer. But I tell you, if you have tires that's been on a trailer for more than 5 years,
change them.
Yeah,
No
that
kidding.
UV but what an experience that was.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably so happy. He's probably rubbing on your trophy there, and then you have these.
Oh yeah, I was shining it up, and then boom, 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 boom. It tore the living heck out of the bottom.
I think that big trophy put it over the gross vehicle weight.
I think you're right, Al.
That's
I
what
think
my,
Al's got
that's
it
what my
there.
buddy said.
When you return the trophy, we might have to do a black light inspection. I don't know.
But you know what's funny? My buddy, he could not leave his 75th anniversary Caprice. He took that with him, and my airplanes, no, they're not going in the car because they're greasy. So he was afraid that if anyone was going to steal anything, that they wasn't going to get that Caprice.
The Chevrolet Caprice?
Well, no, Bob Hunt's airplane.
Oh, okay. All right.
My buddy built
All right.
to homage of the 75th anniversary.
Wow.
So everything else stayed in the camper, but that plane.
Wow.
Yeah. Hell with my plane. I don't care. You can get yours stolen. But anyway, I just had to share that experience to see if anyone ever had a
No,
camper
I'm so
blowout
sorry
like
you
that.
had that on your way back home after such a triumphant
Yeah.
event.
$700.
I had something like that on a motorhome. We were headed to Ohio. I'm trying to think. I don't know where Sparky stays, but on the way to pick up my buddy, a fuel pump went out. This had 2 fuel pumps. You switched it and it ran from one tank or the other tank. You had 2 tanks. So the fuel pump went out. So we replaced the fuel pump at his house, got it working, take off. Right outside of Lima, blew a tire. Had to limp it to a place. And then it took about 3 hours for him to find a tire and have it delivered because it was a special tire for that Toyota motorhome. On the way home, I was about 20 miles from home. I blew another tire. I'm like, oh my God. But I just limped it home. But yeah, when tires start going, I mean, they're old, and that was a regular car tire. It wasn't just a trailer tire, but yeah,
And that camper belonged to my flying buddy. And I spent from April until June putting a new floor in it and fixing the outside structural skin and structural part of the tip out.
Oh, okay.
And then this happens on the way back.
Damn.
Was that Bollinger's camper?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, at least he was with you. I know you didn't do anything wrong.
You should have, yeah, right. You should have seen the shrapnel. Both inner fender wells are gone. It went out underneath it tore a 2 foot by 3 foot hole up through the floor into the camper. Luckily, my new floor I put on was 3/4 inch plywood. It didn't go into the camper, or it would have took out my airplane for one, right where the
that would have
airplane
been terrible.
It was something.
Good night, Mark. He had to go. So we lost Jim Hoffman and Mark Gerber.
Okay. You been out doing any flying, Dennis?
Not at all. He had a couple of nice days, and I got tied up, and then it's been miserable since the middle of the week, and now they're running a club event over the weekend, so maybe Monday.
Okay. I didn't wonder if you get to test any of the propellers or anything.
No, I
or
got
look at them.
got the Vector sitting there waiting its turn, and I got that and the Heck Cat. So
Hey Al, you gonna be on the after party?
No, I got to go to work tomorrow.
Oh, okay, because I got a car question for you one of these
Oh,
days.
what question?
A car question.
Oh, okay.
Let me ask Howard, what are you doing, Howard?
I can hang out a little bit.
What are you doing, Howard?
I'm taking apart my airplane. I'll show you.
there we go. Getting it ready to put it in the box, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow.
When are you leaving for Poland?
Tuesday.
Wow.
Oh wow, good deal.
Good luck. Where you heading?
Oh wait, I got to turn the
Where you going, Howard?
Poland.
Going to the World Championships, Tom.
He's on the team.
Oh.
There's the box.
Wow.
Wow, laser cut it all, huh?
Yep. There's the dog.
Nice.
This is a pretty good dog.
Yeah, I mean, you just lost by 1 point. I mean, I know second place not losing, but some people consider second place first loser. But that's not bad. 1 point behind Dave Fitzgerald.
Not too bad. No.
You're getting better, Howard, or maybe it's just the new dog makes you look so good, right?
Well, a little of each, I think.
Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
You think
Yeah,
Dave's
that's
gonna
awesome.
come to the Las Vegas Stunt Challenge?
I don't know. He's still working, so depends on his schedule. And he's got a kid playing football, so he goes to football games. That's what happened last year.
So you think by dropping some weight off of this one over the other one, that's really helped it flying, or just did you change anything in the airplane? Bigger stab or
Change the vertical stabilizer. That's about it. And wings a little better, a little more accurate.
Well, I can testify it works.
Yeah. Doesn't roll on the ground as long as Dennis is dead, but
Yeah, that's it. I had the undisputed champion rollout. So
yeah, it was really cool. You go to pick it up, and then there it goes another quarter lap.
I was getting a full half lap or more rollout on every landing. And
from
believe
the
it or
wind
not,
blowing it?
13 flights on the pavement, I wore out my Williams Brothers wheels. I can't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I've
Are
only
you
flown it on
wheels
grass
have
before.
Do your wheels have an angle that's worn into them, or are the wheels flat?
Well, I can see, it's like I can see the inside of the wheel, the way the wheel was molded and stuff like that. I can see it like it's splitting on the edge. Hasn't actually split, but it's ready to. So
That's a lot of flights.
that was 13 flights on the pavement, and the rest of flights have been on grass. So I really at a loss how the wheels got so worn out so fast. So.
Hey, Philip Bailey, thank you for the like. So you're officially a VIP. Thank you very much. And then, Brent Williams says, Dennis, did you fly Spectra at the Nats?
Did I fly what?
Spectra lines.
I sure did.
You and
Lenny
Mike
and I
Wonky.
were, as far as I know, Len Burrell and I were the only ones.
Len Burrell.
I think Gabe Alamoff might have been flying them too. Mike, did Sam fly Spectra lines?
He did not,
Okay.
because he had a perfectly good set of 15s that were already with the airplane for the correct amount of tip weight and everything, and we weren't trying to change anything while we were there.
You don't change when you don't change when you get there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was very surprised that more people. I answered 1,000 questions again.
Jim Pagani was using them.
Was he?
Or I'm sorry, no, George Waters. George Waters. I get those guys mixed up because they're both East Coast guys, but yeah George Waters. Together. Okay. He was really experimenting with them a lot at Joe Knoll, and then he went home and flew a bunch more, and he's like, man, I really like these things, and he's using them now. So,
Mike, are you going to the fall Joe Knoll?
I am not. Okay. Our contest schedule for the rest of the year is Detroit in September. We will not be going to the Canton contest because the Detroit F2D contest falls on the same weekend as Tom Dixon's contest. So we're going to miss that this year because we've got to go to combat. Then we are going to Huntersville in October. Probably will not go to King Orange because there's 3 contests in a row. There's Huntersville, King Orange, and Vegas. I can't go to Huntersville, King Orange, and Vegas. I can take Sam to Huntersville. I'm going to have to skip King Orange so that I can go to Vegas. So we've got 2 contests left this year. Detroit.
Huntersville, that's in Kentucky, right? But
North Carolina. North Carolina.
Oh, the Huntersville. Okay. All
yeah.
Right. We're at North Carolina.
Huntersville.
Just above Charlotte.
Okay. All right.
Right near Charlotte. Right near Charlotte. It's a great contest, man. They got stunt, combat, and carrier. They fly everything there.
That's a nice place.
Yeah, and this is 2 years ago was supposed to be an anniversary year for them, and I forget if it's 30 or 35th. But every 5 years on their anniversary of the club, they do a big shindig. They do really nice prizes. They give away airplanes and motors and kits. And one of the things they did last time on the last anniversary, they made for Stunt. They made trophies out of John Morris line wrapping jigs.
Cool. Very nice.
So Sam actually won this one. I didn't get one, but Sam won one. But in combat, like they gave away airplanes for everybody through 4th place. And then 1st place got a brand new Russian airplane and a brand new 25 to put on it. You know, so they do really, and then they have a big banquet too. They do a dinner at a barbecue restaurant. You know, every 5 years, Will says they take the club money and they buy a whole bunch of swag to give away to the people that come to the contest. So,
nice. That is sweet.
That will be this year.
Well, it was supposed to be last year or the year before, but COVID, so it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah,
what was this place that you was talking?
Huntersville,
North Carolina. It's about
okay.
20 minutes from Charlotte, just north of Charlotte.
exit 55 off of 85.
77. Is it 85?
Well, off of 85, it's exit 55. I don't know what it is off 77 because I don't come that way.
Yeah, off 77, it's like exit 27 or 28. So we come down from 40.
Yeah. You come the high class way. I come the backwoods.
I got you. Phil, we got you. I got you approved this morning. I don't know if you saw that.
They kicked me off.
Who did?
Facebook. They kicked me off. It says that I didn't do something. I'm gonna have to start again, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know what the heck's going on. At first, I didn't have my photo, so I went and put the photo on there, and then 10 minutes later, they kicked me off again for something else, and I tried to challenge it, and they said it's already gone through. I said, well, it says 24 hours. It hadn't been 10 minutes. I don't know what's going on. I'll try again tomorrow.
Oh, well, we didn't kick you off our site. I approved you to be on control line flying. You're saying you got kicked off Facebook.
Yeah, the whole.
Yeah, you gotta be careful what you say on there, man, or they'll
I
get
didn't
you.
say anything.
Oh,
The only
okay.
thing I got on and looked at control line flying, and that's as far as I got.
Okay.
I don't know what the heck happened. I
If you
had
get
a
back
bunch of
in
people
there,
show up, and I checked them as friends, because most of them are relatives. And I guess I got some bad people, man, because one of them got me kicked off. I guess I don't know.
okay. Well, when you get back on, make sure you come check out our site, and that's like I told you, that's how you get a hold of Sherratt to check out the Axioma and all his stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying for. We'll try it again tomorrow, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Man, Al?
Yep.
There's nothing worse than coming home from the Nats after you bought 40 brand new Nelson plugs from Henry and you can't find them.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Why are you buying Nelson plugs? Oh,
for FTD.
Didn't the guy in Michigan, he didn't come through?
Well, yeah. No, Ronnie gave us like 100 one-run plugs. He gives us his one runs because.
The guy's Steve.
I bought 40 brand new ones from Henry while I was there because I can't depend on Ronnie to give us everything. So $8 a pop, man, $320 worth of plugs, and I have looked everywhere and I cannot find them, man. I am pulling my hair out.
You'll find it, Mike. I know that.
I got to get over and see Joe again about the plugs, about the wood.
Yeah,
Like
I'm definitely interested in the plugs, Steve.
Okay, I'll find out. And the guy who won advanced,
Tom Luciano.
Yeah, he wants he wants some of the wood. And we're working that out. So
if you hear a good deal on wood, let me know about it too, please.
Don't give Al them plugs, man. I couldn't afford them when I was there because I gave him too much money when I was there, but I got money now.
I put dibs on him when he first mentioned it.
All right, you go ahead, Al. That's fine. That's fine. I'll just buy new ones from Henry.
Actually, Dub Jet makes. He takes Henry's plugs and he cuts them down, and you can use a blow driver on them.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. That's like making something different, again.
Yeah, well, I'm just, for racing, that's works out good.
Oh, I'll bet. Oh, I do have an update from anybody who cares about combat stuff. I heard from Roman Yavenko this week. We got back from the Nats, and I sent him a message, not asking him about my airplanes, but asking him about handles and lines and shutoffs because we need a whole bunch of that stuff. And he was like, yep, I got all that stuff. And by the way, your airplanes are going to ship out at the end of this week. So I got 10 airplanes coming from Roman. I had him throw 4 F2D handles in there with the trick adjustment knob. You can adjust on the fly. It's right on the top of the handle, that knurled knob. So the top one moves in and out. 20 sets of lines and a half a dozen shutoffs. He's just going to throw them in the box. I had to go do another Western Union to him, like another $400 for all that stuff. It went through fine. He got the money, and I'm expecting tracking on my package here in the next couple of days.
Well, you got to use metal lines.
His metal lines, yeah.
How many planes?
Just 10. I bought 10 for that go around, but I'm probably going to order another 10.
Yeah.
Why
just
can't you use
10? Did y'all fix that?
Mike?
Just 10.
Yeah, just 10. Say again, Steve?
Why can't you use spectral lines?
You can in F2D and FAI.
Oh, you can't. Oh,
no.
I thought you could use spectra. And
speed limit and half A, you can.
Oh, okay.
Can't use them in FAI stuff. And it's just easier to buy the Russian pre-made stuff with their handle. Because this measurement is always the same on the F2D planes, from the belt crank to the lines. I mean, no matter who you buy them from, all the Eastern European stuff is the same from here to here. And then if you buy their handle and their lines, it meets the 52, and it's a metric measurement, but it works out to be, you only have 1.75 inches leeway from 52 foot. It's actually a metric measurement. I can't think of what it is, but it's like, it's 1.75 inches or so.
Okay.
And you have to have those lines when you fly in an FAI tournament. You can use regular 15 line that you made yourself here in the United States, but if you happen to go to a world championship, you got to use their stuff. You can't
So you
use.
guys are going?
No, well, I don't know, but you know, I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what's going to happen next July at the team trials. We're
Is there
hopeful.
other juniors?
Say again?
Other juniors flying.
Yes, yeah. There's Anna Minor and Austin Minor.
Okay.
Are both juniors. So if they go, but
Yeah, they're practicing too.
the important thing, Al, was I got a hold of Roman. He's got this stuff and he can ship it right now. I don't want to get jammed up if the situation changes a year from now and I can't get any of this stuff.
Well, if you get stuck, let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I have 10 planes that I bought for, I thought my son was going to go when we were going to go to France, back, I don't know, 15 years ago or whatever.
2008.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got them from Vico. So I have 10 Vicos sitting in the box,
Okay. I appreciate that. I think we're good.
Back up, let me know.
That's great, Al. Between practice planes, we're set with everything we got from the Kresniks. We got stuff for the team trials, and we have new stuff if he happens to make the team and go to the World Championship. We're covered, but the lines, the handles, the shutout, all that stuff was I was lacking in that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get it while I could, Right. But if you decide you want to get rid of those airplanes anyway, even though, we're not pressed to have them, I would.
If you run into a bind, if he makes the team and you run into a bind and you need planes, they're yours.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Al.
Let me interrupt you guys. I'm gonna let you. I want to see your plane, Steve, in just a second. But I have a chat. Braves fan says yo, so I want to get that in there. And then Steven, let's see your plane before we end the live stream and go into the after party. What do you got there?
So I'm building a new Stiletto 660.
Nice.
And I had that on last week. I know it was on during the after party. I showed all the parts as I had set up, the wing, the stab, the elevator, all that. So this week we worked on it at the shop and got it all assembled, everything in line, all straight, and we used 2 incident meters and 3 levels and have everything all in line to that point. Now, after we got to that, I started since yesterday and today a little different trick I wanted to do because I was worried with the fillets and how the fillets are always blistering up. So I used the carbon fiber instead this time on the fuselage, and I'm going around and spacing it around the fillets so I don't get that issue of it trying to lift off of it. And that's why I got the fuselage all done yesterday, and now I just started tissuing it today on the stab. Probably later on today, toward the end of the day and tomorrow, I'll be doing the wing.
Looks good.
Is that going to be glow?
I'm sorry?
Glow or electric?
This will be glow.
Okay, cool.
This will be
What are
glow.
you
I'll
using
have
for
a-
covering
I'll have
on the
my,
wing?
I'm sorry?
What are you using for power?
For power, I'm going to put a K77 in this one.
On a tune pipe or just a rear muffler?
Rear exhaust pipe muffler.
Very nice. And then Tom Creasy had a question about the covering. What kind of covering was you going to use?
Okay. So let me show you on the back here first. So I have the setup here for where the motor can
Yeah, very
right
nice.
out the slot on the back here. So that for covering is all right now it's all nitrate that I'm putting on, that's on it right now. And after that's there, everything else will be Randolph.
So you're gonna use
what?
polyspan or
It's
tissue?
nitrate from it's Randolph nitrate from aircraft spruce, and then all the colors are also Randolph.
So you're gonna use
What are you
tissue?
using? Polyspan, Japanese tissue.
What I'm using on that is doctor. Right now, this is carbon fiber, and the rest of it's doctor paper.
Now, are you going to use dope for clear or auto clear?
Dope.
For the top coat?
For the top coat on it there, yeah. The only part I'm going to put on the auto, I'm going to do regular. After all the colors are down, I'm going to do regular product. I'm going to do regular Randolph clear on the whole airplane, and then do the whole nose section to the bottom of the tail for the exhaust is going to be automotive.
Well, it's looking good.
Very nice. Thank you very
Yeah,
much,
very
Stephen,
nice.
for coming
I'll do
in.
I'll do the whole nose section and this whole process from the time I got the kit, opened up the box, looked at the plan, said it was, take my time and hold off on it. I'm in this stage in a month.
Wow, Stephen, make me feel
My
terrible.
father and my father helps me quite a bit. He does a lot of the helping and shaping and putting together as far as that's concerned. I built all the main parts of the airplane, which is the wing and the fuse. He helps me with all the lining up and the shaping and framing and sand, and the hard part is sanding, which is a lot of time consuming that I don't have while I go to work. So I greatly appreciate his contribution that we work together in the shop. But
Very cool.
This has been 1 month so far.
Wow. Hey, Ruben, I see just part of your forearm, so you're not totally hidden. So hi, Ruben.
I'm a hider.
I see your hand. Yeah, you're not hidden.
Let's see you have fun.
Hey, hi, Ruben. Anyways, nice to see you. Or nice to see part of your forearm. But I see all of you, Stephen.
What's going to be nice about this one is my first stiletto came out really light with a lot of power. That one's 64.5 ounces with a Rojet 67. This one's actually the way it's coming out so far. I should be the same, if not even lighter. Don't worry, you got the pipe, the rear pipe. And I was looking around and I was asking for it because I had originally my K-77 with a full tube pipe engine, and I'm having problems with the pipe setup because I don't know how to build properly to compensate the tail. It's the tail weight. It's about 3.5 ounces of tail weight with the pipe. So that's why I just went to a header muffler. So I was looking around for a header muffler. I asked Randy for one where I bought the motor, and he doesn't have any in stock. So he told me to contact Cosmonato, and unfortunately he's ill and sick, and he's not doing motors right now. So the best place to get your headers and any of your pipes or anything you need from that is through Dubjet. And that's exactly who I called up. I asked him for it, told him what the motor was, and he says, I got it. He made it, sent it out, no problem.
Nice.
Good.
That's
Dubjet's
good.
the person to go to if you need anything on your muffler setups.
What road jet for the muffler?
Road yes.
Okay.
Road yes.
Okay. I gotta ask, it's not airplane anymore, but Al's leaving and he's waiting so I can ask him a question that's non.
Well, let me just end the show real quick. I've been meaning to end it, but I wanted Stephen to have a chance to show it during the live stream. He showed it during the after party last time. Anyways, we had a very good show. People, thank you so much. We're not going anywhere, but we're gonna end the live stream. And if you want to come on in, you need to go to stunthangar.com and go to At the Bench, and you can come into the after party. Until then, we will see you. Goodbye.